Imagine a convicted fraudster walking free after just a few months behind bars, all because of a last-minute pardon from the president. That's the jaw-dropping reality for former Congressman George Santos, and it's sparking outrage across the political spectrum. Stick around as we unpack this controversial move and what it means for justice in America. In a stunning development from the White House, President Donald Trump has granted a commutation to ex-US Representative George Santos, freeing him from a 7-year prison term tied to a high-profile federal fraud case. For those new to legal terms, a commutation shortens or ends a sentence without forgiving the crime itself. It's like hitting the pause button on punishment, often used by presidents to show mercy or make a political statement. This happened on a Friday, allowing Santos, the once rising Republican star from Long Island, to step out of federal custody much sooner than expected. Santos's attorney, Joseph Murray, shared with the Associated Press that his client was let out around 11 p.m. from the Federal Correctional Institution in Fairton, New Jersey, a low-security facility known for housing non-violent offenders. Waiting for him outside were his loved ones, marking an emotional reunion after what Santos himself described as a nightmare ordeal. But here's where it gets controversial. Trump didn't just quietly sign off on this. He blasted the news on his platform, Truth Social, painting Santos as a bit of a maverick who, despite his scandals, stayed loyal to the GOP. In his post, Trump highlighted Santos's unwavering Republican voting record, emphasizing the ex-congressman's courage, conviction, and intelligence. He also claimed Santos endured brutal treatment, including extended periods in solitary confinement, a practice that's drawn criticism from human rights advocates for its potential psychological harm. Therefore, I just signed a commutation releasing George Santos from prison immediately. Good luck, George. Have a great life, Trump wrote. This bold endorsement raises eyebrows. Is loyalty to the party more important than accountability for breaking the law? It's a question that's dividing opinions, even among Republicans. Murray, Santos's primary lawyer, couldn't hold back his enthusiasm. In a quick text to Newsday that evening, he gushed, "God bless President Donald Trump, the greatest president in US history," complete with a patriotic American flag emoji. It's clear this decision has fired up Santos's inner circle, who see it as a vindication. And this is the part most people miss. While commutations are a presidential power, they're rare and often tied to broader narratives, like Trump's history of using them to reward allies or challenge what he calls a rigged system. To understand the full picture, let's rewind to Santos's downfall. Back in August 2024, the 37-year-old, born in Queens to Brazilian immigrant parents, admitted guilt to serious charges stemming from his 2022 campaign for New York's 3rd Congressional District. This area, covering parts of Nassau County and eastern Queens, had been a Democratic stronghold until Santos, inspired by Trump's 2016 win, flipped it red as a self-proclaimed outsider shaking up politics. But his victory was short-lived and tainted by deception. Just weeks after taking office, a bombshell New York Times investigation exposed Santos's web of lies. He fabricated college degrees from prestigious institutions he never attended, invented jobs at elite firms like Goldman Sachs, and even falsely claimed Jewish heritage to connect with voters. For beginners dipping into political scandals, this kind of resume padding isn't just embarrassing, it's a breach of trust that can mislead donors and constituents who rely on honesty from their leaders. The fallout was swift. A bipartisan House Ethics Committee probe uncovered more, including falsified financial reports to Congress. In December 2023, the House voted overwhelmingly, across party lines, to expel him, a rare honor that made Santos only the 6th lawmaker in US history to face such ousting since the Civil War era. Federal prosecutors then hit him with an indictment in 2023, charging him with wire fraud, money laundering, stealing public funds, lying to Congress, identity theft, and illegally using donors' credit cards without permission. He fought back at first with a not guilty plea, but by August 2024, the weight of evidence led to his guilty admission. Come April, a judge handed down an 87-month sentence, over 7 years, plus orders to repay about $375,000 to victims and forfeit another $200,000 in ill-gotten gains. For context, these restitution amounts aim to make victims whole again, compensating for the financial harm caused by fraud, which often preys on people's generosity toward political causes. Santos began serving time in July at FCI Fairton, where he kept the public updated through a column in the South Shore Press, a local paper from Centre Moriches. In one piece last month, he revealed being in protective custody, isolated from the general population due to alleged threats on his life, an investigation into a supposed assassination plot inside the prison. Desperate, he penned, "The only hope I have is that President Trump will see this and take me out of this horrid situation and let me go back to my family." Little did he know, that plea would soon be answered. Another of Santos's lawyers, Andrew Mansilla, emailed his support for the commutation, calling it the right call and thanking Trump. Yet, while his team celebrated, the reaction on Long Island was anything but festive. It was a firestorm of bipartisan backlash. Even fellow Republicans distanced themselves, highlighting how this decision undermines faith in the justice system. Republican Rep. Andrew Garbarino from Bayport acknowledged the president's authority in a Newsday statement. The president hath the discretion to commute sentences for people convicted of federal crimes. But he didn't stop there, pointing out the raw deal for victims still have not been made whole, including the people he stole from and the voters he defrauded. The less than 3 months that he spent in jail is not justice. It's a stark reminder that commutations can feel like a slap in the face to those who've suffered real losses. Similarly, Rep. Nick LaLota from Amityville took to X, formerly Twitter, to argue that Santos's offences demand far more than a brief stint in prison. He should devote the rest of his life to demonstrating remorse and making restitution to those he wronged, LaLota posted. On the Democratic side, Robert Zimmerman, a Great Neck-based national committeeman who narrowly lost to Santos in the 2022 midterm surge, didn't hold back against Trump. He accused the president of hypocrisy, jailing political enemies while letting Santos off for unconscionable crimes and hidden fraud. For Donald Trump to erase the consequence of those crimes, simply because Santos votes Republican, should outrage each and every American who says they are for law and order, Zimmerman declared. This double-standard angle is particularly contentious. Does party loyalty trump justice? Or is this just smart politics in a polarized era? Jody Cass-Finkel, who leads Concerned Citizens for NY3, a grassroots group of bipartisan voters who rallied protests at Santos's office, expressed deep dismay in a Newsday phone call Friday night. "We feel betrayed," she said, targeting both Trump and the Republican Party. "We feel betrayed by Trump, and we feel betrayed by the Republican Party." Her words capture the frustration of everyday people who fought for accountability, only to see it seemingly undone by a single executive decision. This story was shaped by contributions from Newsday's Nicole Fuller and the Associated Press. Laura Figueroa Hernandez, our White House correspondent, who previously tackled New York City politics and government for Newsday since 2012, after stints at the Miami Herald covering state and local beats, brings her expertise to this unfolding saga. So, what do you think? Is Trump's commutation a merciful act for a reformed soul, or a dangerous signal that loyalty beats the law? Should presidents wield this power more sparingly to protect victims' rights. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss if this sets a troubling precedent or if it's just politics as usual.